Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to another edition of Baseball Talk. This is the second to last installment in the National League East rankings. If you didn't catch the videos before, the other three teams that I ranked, it's a good idea to get you guys to watch the other videos if I don't tell you where I ranked each team. But I'll tell you the other three teams, though. I'm not going to tell you where I ranked them if you didn't watch the videos. If you did already, thank you, and you know where I ranked them. But the Phillies, Marlins, and the other team that is escaping my mind right now is Washington Nationals. Yes, so go watch those videos. They'll be in my description box. Go watch those if you already haven't. But let's get into the second to last year. Second place in the NL East, and second place isn't bad, especially in this division that is loaded. I've said that word about using to describe this division many times. I'm beating that in the ground, but it's true. This division is absolutely loaded. But coming in at number 2, the team that made the NLCS last year. You'd think if I'm talking about a team that made the NLCS the year prior, you're saying they got to be first in their division at least the next year, unless anything crazy happens in the offseason, which it didn't for them. Nothing insane happened for them in the offseason for them to go bad. Except for, Nick Markakis, who had a very solid career, good career for Nick Markakis. Shout out to Nick Markakis. He had a good career, man. Very good career. Solid hitter. Made an all-star team later in his career. So the Atlanta Braves, nothing crazy for them happened in the offseason. They did get Charlie Morton, which is big for their rotation, I think. A rotation that kind of needed somebody like that. Someone that's been solidified, that's been in the majors for a while. Dude, finished top 5 in the Cy Young race just a couple years ago. So you hear my cat in the background. He wants to get out of my room, but I'm not letting him out until I'm done this blog. So anyway, Charlie Morton, big for them in the offseason. Seems like the Braves always do that every year. Seems like at some point they get somebody, whether it's Josh Donaldson, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, even adding people like Will Smith, who didn't have a great year for them last year, but he was a contributor to that bullpen last year for the Atlanta Braves for them to get the NLCS. But my main point in here is that the Braves always make, offseason signings, whether it's for a huge name or not. Even Donaldson, I don't think even the year he had in 2019, I don't think people expected for him to return to MVP form, at least because of his health issues in the past, whether it was Toronto or whoever he was playing for. He had, the recent health issues, but he stayed healthy for Atlanta, and he raked, and he had an MVP season for them that year. But it seems like Atlanta always, they've had the young players that they've developed. They've had these starting pitchers that come up, and even when one goes down, whether it's a Fulton-Nevich, because Fulton-Nevich had a great 2018, but he kind of fell off a little bit. I don't know if he got hurt. I don't exactly remember. But whether it's Fulton-Nevich, whether it's Sean Newcomb, whether it's Mike Soroka, whether it's Max Fried, who was obviously the one last year, even Ian Anderson, who came and gave them great starts in the regular season and even better starts in the playoffs. It seems like the Atlanta Braves always are able to develop these young starting pitchers. It's like one after the other. All of them were able to stay healthy there. That's scary, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But for me, the key for the Braves, for them to, win the division and make it to the NLCS last year, the past couple of years, that's the free agent signings. I mean, look at Marcell Ozuna, what he did. He had a virtual MVP season, in the shortened season in 2020, and he was a huge reason for them getting the NLCS. Same with Travis d'Arnaud. Travis d'Arnaud didn't have an MVP season, but won a Silver Slugger, and he raked for the Braves in regular season and playoffs. So it seems like the Braves always, it seems like the past couple of years they've been doing that. And other teams in the NL East haven't really been doing that, except for another team that we're going to talk about that'll come in at number 1. Obviously, if you've seen all the videos, you know who's coming in at number 1 now. Might come as a surprise to some people, might not. I don't know. But just those three things for me, man. They've been able to have that young core of Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson finally kind of came through last year. He's been kind of slowly escalating each year. You look at his stats each year. You look on fan graphs. You look on simply Baseball Reference, which is more, you can look at those simple statistics. And you can look at his batting average, the 3 slash stats. He's just slowly gotten better every year since about 2017, 2018, Dansby Swanson. So the Braves, they have, like I said, Acuna, Albies, Swanson. I feel like I'm missing another player or two, but obviously Freddie Freeman wins the MVP last year. He's not a young player anymore. He's a vet now. Obviously, he's been in the majors for a while. They had Nick Markakis last year. Not gonna have him this year because he retired. Like I said, d'Arnaud, Ozuna, these are the vets. They get that good mix. They have what's scary. Ronald Acuna, one of the best young hitters in the game, and probably not even one of the best young hitters, best hitters in general. It's incredible how some of these young guys are just taking over, like Acuna, Tatis, Soto. It's all these young guys, and it's so exciting for the game. So unbelievably exciting. I think it's really good for baseball to see a lot of these young guys coming up and making a big impact already. Maybe not great for the minor leagues, but I think it's good for the sport in general. But I digress. The Braves, those 3 things for me, man. The developing those young prospects to go along with those vets. I didn't talk about the rotation, though. I did talk about free agent signings and this young core along to go with those vets. Let's talk about the rotation, though. If Max Fried is Max Fried like he was last year, and even the year before, he wasn't bad. Yeah, he had an ERA over 4, but if you look at his ERA plus, he had an ERA higher than the average, which is 100. He had an ERA plus of around 117 maybe. It might be not the exact number, but he had a number higher than the average. So Max Fried was an above average pitcher in 2019, as well as we all know how good he was last year. Shortened season, yes, smaller sample, but he was really good. We can see how what type of pitcher he's probably going to turn into. And then you get somebody like Ian Anderson, who is young. He's still considered a prospect, but he's the second ranked pitching prospect. You saw what he did in the playoffs. He's not afraid of anything. We see the stuff he has. He's going to be a really good pitcher, I think, for a long time. And it's really just about, you had Charlie Morton, and I don't think Morton's just going to be a bad pitcher this year. Yes, he is getting older. It's up to him to kind of, stay healthy and keep pitching at an elite level. Do I think he's going to keep pitching at a Cy Young level? I don't know. But it's up to guys like Mike Soroka. He was hurt last year. He had a really good 2019, but he was hurt last year, unfortunately. And so that's going to be important for the Braves, for Soroka to stay healthy. You have Morton, you have Fried, Ian Anderson. Those 4 guys, if they can all be as good as they've been in the past, if Fried keeps on this trajectory, if Ian Anderson, I don't expect them to have an ERA under, 2? Did he have an ERA under 2 in the regular season and even the playoffs? I don't know about that, but if he can be a good pitcher for them, if Morton can be who he was for the Rays and even those late years in the Astros, or with the Astros, and if Soroka can come back and pitch like he did a couple of years ago, or even at least close to that rotation's really good. You talk about a lot of these rotations in baseball. Look at the Braves. They could have a really, really good rotation. So those 4 right there, that's important for the Braves. But if Soroka can't stay healthy, he doesn't return to that form, or maybe Ian Anderson comes back and he has a sophomore slump, that's possible. Or Charlie Morton, always getting a little older, he doesn't have the same zip on some of those pitches. That's possible too. You never know. That's the beauty of sports. We just don't know. But it's kind of intriguing to see what type of team the Braves can be. For me, I see the Braves being a wild card team this year. Just based off of what I'm going to talk about in the next video, I think the Braves are slightly under that first place team, or that first place spot. Would I be surprised if they won the division this year? No. They just made the NLCS last year, and they won the division the last 3 years straight. And we all know how the Braves are with runs and winning the NL East. We saw that in the mid to late 90s into the mid 2000s. They ran that division years ago. sometimes things come back around. Sometimes that's how it works. As a Phillies fan, I know as a Phillies fan, like, the Phillies will have their good years, but then they start losing for a stretch, and we've seen that since 2012. So they've been a competitive team the last couple of years, but this is just how this division kind of works. The Mets are good every so often. The Braves getting those runs. The Phillies have their little peaks for a little while, and then they suck for a little while. And that's baseball in general. Let's be real. That's just baseball in general. But knowing as a Phillies fan, knowing what I've seen up close and personal with the NL East, I know how this stuff goes. So I can see that. I mean, could the Braves win the division for the 4th year in a row? Yeah. It's going to be tough either way. I've said this in the 3 last videos. It's going to be tough for all of these teams. 1 through 5. 5 through 1, whatever you want to call it. I like the Braves at 88 wins. I like them to get a wild card spot. They'll either get that. I think they get the first wild card spot. I think one of those NL Central teams gets another wild card spot too. Either the Cardinals or the Brewers. I'd see the Brewers, unless Arenado decides he doesn't want to be the player that he was with the Rockies at Coors Field. Maybe the Coors effect becomes a thing, and Arenado's not as good for the Cardinals. Maybe the Cardinals aren't as good as everyone thinks they're going to be, but they have a lot of potential too. But Cardinals or Brewers are going to get that other NL wild card spot, and I like the Braves to get a wild card spot, but wouldn't be surprised if they won the division. I just want to put that out there. I wouldn't be surprised if the Atlanta Braves won the National League East, but I got the Braves coming in number 2. So that's where I got the Braves. Make sure you check out all the videos I mentioned before. And I'm going to have a special treat for you. Number 1, I'm going to have a special guest. He's been on Baseball Talk before, so you guys are going to enjoy that. So yeah, thanks for watching this episode of Baseball Talk.